Good morning, sir. My name is Princess Joy Dalmanuines, and today I will going to discuss about the elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply. So, based on my research, according to Sam Altman, it is much more important to work on the right thing than it is work too many hours. Most people waste most of their time in stuff that doesn't matter. So, what is elasticity of demand? The elasticity of demand or demand elasticity is the one in which there is substantial change in the quantity demanded when another economic factor change such as price. As for the elasticity of demand definition, the demand contracts are extant with the rise of funds and decreases. Simply, the relative change in the demand commodity as a result of relative change in the price is called as elasticity of demand. The name elastic demand comes from the way economists think about demand for the good or service. It's such as easily and slight change in the price result in massive changes in demand. Demand for the product is said to be elastic if a small change in the price causes consumers to demand more or less of the good or services, and if the small change in the price causes consumers to make no change or almost no change in the quantity of the product or services demanded. Examples of elastic goods including luxury items, food and beverages, and etc. Therefore, the elasticity of demand tells you how much the amount but decreases when the price increases. The elasticity of demand is calculated by dividing the percentage change in the quantity demanded by percentage change in the economic variable. So now let's proceed to the price elasticity of supply or supply elasticity. So it is a measure used in economics to show the responsiveness of elasticity or the quantity supply of a good or service to a change in its price. What is supply and its elasticity? How does price elasticity affect supply? So, price elasticity of supply of a good or service after a change in its market price. So, according to basic economics theory, the supply of good will increase when its price conversely. The supply of a good will decrease when its price decreases. The examples of elasticity of supply is the supply of non-necessity goods such as soft drinks, where there are many substitutes and choices. A drastic change in price will not have a toll on the supply. Consumers could opt for other brands of soft drinks or prefer close substitutes. So we should also remember that if the demand elasticity increase, the supply will decrease. And if the supply increase, the demand will decrease. Thank you.
Polar cases of elasticity and constant elasticity. There are extreme cases of elasticity, when elasticity equals to zero and when it is infinity. A third case is that of constant unitary elasticity. We will describe each. The first case, infinity elasticity or perfect elasticity, refers to the extreme case where either the quantity demand or supplied changes by an infinity amount in response to any change in price at all. Demand curve are horizontal as shown in figure 1. Ito ay matinding kaso kung saan ang quantity demand or supplied ay nagbabago ng walang katapusang halagang bilang tugon sa anumang pagbabago ng presyo. The horizontal line shows that ang isang walang katapusang dami will be demanded or supplied at a specific price. Inilarawan nito ang mga cases of perfectly or infinitely elastic demand curve and supply curve. While ang perfectly elasticity na supply curve ay hindi makatotohanan, ang mga kalakal na may madaling magagamit na mga input at kung saan ang produksyon ay madaling mapalawak ay magtatampok ng mataas na elastic supply curve. The second case,
Zero elasticity or perfect inelasticity.
as depicted in Figure 2, refers to the extreme case kung saan ang 1% ay nagbabago ng presyo, no matter how large, result in zero change in quantity. Zero elasticity ay vertical supply curve at vertical demand curve ay nagpapakita na magkakaroon ng zero na percentage sa quantity A demand or B supplied anuman ang presyo.
While a perfectly inelasticity supply is an extreme example, goods with limited supply of inputs are likely to feature highly inelastic supply curve. A third case is constant unitary elasticity.
In either, a supply or demand curve occurs when a price change of 1% in a quantity change of 1%. Figure 3 ay nagpapakita ng isang demand curve with constant unit elasticity. Habang binababa natin ang kurba ng demand mula A hanggang B, bumababa ng presyo ng 33% at tumataas ng quantity demand ng 33%. Habang lumilipat mula sa B hanggang C, ang presyo ay bumababa ng 25% at ang quantity demand ay tumataas ng 25%. Habang lumipat mula sa C hanggang D, bumababa ang presyo ng 16% at tumataas ang dami ng 16%. Notice that, in absolute value, the decline in price habang bumababa ka sa demand curve are not identical. Instead, ang presyo ay bumababa ng $3 mula A hanggang B by smaller amount of $1.50 from B hanggang C and by still smaller amount of $0.75 from C hanggang D. It result ang quantity demand curve ay may constant unitary elasticity, moves from a steeper slope on the left and a flatter slope in the right and a curved shape overall. In constant unitary elasticity, demand curve ay isang curve ng demand na may constant unitary elasticity ay magiging isang curved line. Pansinin na kung paano nagbabago ang presyo at quantity demand ng magkapare-parehong halaga. Unlike the demand curve with unitary elasticity is represented by a straight line. In moving up the supply curve from left to right, each increase in quantity. Consider the price changes moving up the supply curve. In Figure 4, from B hanggang E hanggang F at sa G, on the supply curve, each step of $0.50 ay pareho sa ganap na halaga. However, sa halaga ng porsyento, ang mga hakbang ay bumababa mula sa 33.3% hanggang sa 25% hanggang sa 16.7%.
Because of the original price in each percentage, calculation are getting larger and larger in value along the constant unitary elasticity supply curve.
Percentage quantity increases on the horizontal axis exactly match the percentage price increases on the vertical axis, so the supply curve has a constant unitary elasticity at all points.
What is price elasticity? Price elasticity is a measure of how consumers react to the prices of the product and services. Normally, demand declines when prices rise. However, depending on the product, service, and the market, how consumers react to a price change can vary. There are two types of price elasticity. Price elasticity of demand, also known as PED, is a measure in economics to show how demand responds to a change in the prices of product or services. When prices rise, demand usually drops. When prices drop, demand usually rises. Price elasticity of supply, also called as PES, is a measure that shows how quantity of supply is affected by a changing in the price of a good and service. When supply rises, the price usually drops. When the supply drops, prices usually rise. In this image, demand of a product A and B changes to a greater extent than alternators in price. D, E, and F have smaller demand changes than alternators in price. With C, demand and prices change by the same proportion. A is a non-essential good such as a weekend in spa. F is an essential good such as bread. C might it be a Coke. People will turn into Pepsi if Coke prices rise. Put simply, when the price of something non-essential, such as a weekend and spa, rises, demand falls sharply. However, when the prices of an essential product, such as bread, rises, demand does not change that much. Therefore, we can say that the price elasticity is of non-essential good are high, while the price elasticity of essentials good is low. So, let's look at an example where price elasticity is high. Demand for one can of Diet Coke is elastic because there are other cheap alternatives available. And substitute products such as Diet Pepsi in this hypothetical example when one
the percentage change in product X. So this is what we are going to use, the same as what we used in the price of income elasticity. And in the percentage change in product Y, so we are also going to use the same formula, the same concept. We have the price 2 minus price 1 over the average price. So let us try. We will solve for cross price elasticity on this table. So we have the product X and the product Y, and the Q1, Q2, P1, P2. We are going to compare this product, the quantity and this price. In order for us to do that, we have to remember that the formula for cross price elasticity of demand is the percentage change in quantity demanded for product X divided by percentage change in the price of product Y. And to solve the first upper part of the equation, we have QDX2 minus QDX1 over the average quantity demanded, which is equals to 5 QD2 minus 4 over the average of these two. This 5 plus 4 divided by 2, that equals to 1 over 4.5 or 0.22. Now we will solve the percentage change in the price of the product Y. How we are going to do that? We are going to use this formula, PY2 minus PY1 over the average price. And that is the price 2 is of product Y. Is 3 minus 2 over 3 plus 2 divided by 2. And that is 1 over 2.5 or 0.40. So those are the values for this. And to solve for this cross price elasticity of demand, we will simply substitute this here. So substituting, we have 0.22 over 0.40 is equal to 0.55, which is greater than 0 or a positive number. And therefore, product X and Y are substitutes, meaning possible na siya ngang Coke or Pepsi, no? If walay Coke, Pepsi, so mao na siya is substitute product. Okay, so elasticity in labor and financial capital markets. So the concept of elasticity applies to any markets, not just markets for goods and services in the labor markets. For example, the wage elasticity of labor supply, that is the percentage change in hours work divided by the percentage change in wage, will determine the shape of the labor supply curve especially. In the markets of financial capital, the elasticity of savings, that is the percentage change in the quantity of savings divided by the percentage change in interest rates, will describe the shape of the supply curve for financial capital markets. So that is, we have here the formula of the elasticity of labor supply. The percentage change in quantity of labor supplied divided by the percentage change in wage. And the elasticity of savings, we have here the percentage change in quantity of financial savings over the percentage change in the interest rate. The wage elasticity of labor supply for teenage workers is generally thought to be fairly elastic. That is, a certain percentage change in wage will lead to a larger percentage change in the quantity of our work. Conversely, the wage elasticity of labor supply for adult workers in their 30s and 40s is thought to be fairly inelastic. When wage move up or down by a certain percentage amount, the quantity of hours that adults in their prime earning years are willing to supply change but by a lesser
Expanding the
percentage
concept
amount.
of elasticity. The elasticity concept does not even need to relate to a typical supply or demand curve at all. For example, imagine that you are studying whether the Internal Revenue Service should spend more money on auditing tax return. The question can be framed in terms of the elasticity of tax collection with respect to spending on tax enforcement, that is, what is the percentage change in tax?